Above Pearl Harbor, the water looks peaceful, but beneath its surface, an entire battlefield remains frozen almost 85 years later. Two American warships still rest where they sank, holding twisted steel, trapped memories, and secrets hidden from nearly every visitor. One wreck still releases oil into the harbor, while another lies overturned beside Ford Island, largely unseen by the public. But what remains below is far more than wreckage, because these ships became tombs for sailors who never returned home. To understand why they were left behind, we must return to a quiet Sunday morning in December 1941. More than 90 ships crowded Pearl Harbor, while 8 battleships formed the powerful heart of the American Pacific Fleet there. Before 8 o'clock, Japanese aircraft swept over Oahu, striking airfields and warships, before many sailors understood what was happening around them. Torpedoes slammed into Battleship Row, bombs fell from above, and the peaceful harbor transformed into fire, smoke, and chaos everywhere. Among the ships under attack was USS Arizona, moored beside Ford Island with the repair ship Vestal alongside her that morning. A bomb penetrated Arizona and triggered a catastrophic explosion, destroying the battleship and killing 1,177 men. Within minutes, Arizona settled into the shallow harbor, leaving much of her shattered hull beneath burning oil and dark water. Across Ford Island, USS Utah was struck by torpedoes, rolled onto her side, and sank with 58 crew members. After the attack, enormous salvage operations raised and repaired most damaged ships, allowing several battleships to fight again across the Pacific. Arizona and Utah remained behind, as severe destruction and human loss transformed both wrecks into permanent memorials beneath Pearl Harbor. Today, memorials mark these wrecks, while beneath the harbor remain steel, oil, personal stories, and the unfinished silence of war. Above Arizona today, a white memorial spans the wreck, but below it, the battleship still cradles hundreds of unrecovered sailors. Families of survivors and victims often view the Arizona not simply as a wreck, but as a sacred underwater grave. For decades, tiny droplets of bunker fuel have continued rising from her hull, creating the haunting phenomenon called black tears. Each shimmering drop reminds visitors that Arizona is not only a monument to history, but a vessel still physically present. Unlike Arizona, Utah receives less attention, yet she too remains where she capsized, holding stories many Americans rarely hear today. Originally built as a battleship and later converted into a target ship, Utah was never meant to end here forever. When torpedoes struck, Utah rolled over so quickly that some crewmen escaped through holes cut into her hull below decks. Even now, her overturned shape beneath the harbor remains a quiet reminder that Pearl Harbor holds more than one grave. But Pearl Harbor hides more than famous wrecks, because fragments, debris, and scars from the attack still linger underwater there. Divers and researchers have documented twisted metal, scattered artifacts, and damaged structures that silently preserve the violence of that morning. Yet much of what lies beneath is protected, because disturbing these sites would risk damaging both history and human remains. That protection is why Pearl Harbor is not explored like an ordinary shipwreck destination, despite worldwide fascination with sunken ruins. The harbor is therefore both an archaeological site and a place of mourning, where preservation matters more than dramatic recovery. Visitors standing above the memorial often see calm blue water, never realizing a shattered battleship still rests directly below them. So when we ask what still lies beneath Pearl Harbor, the answer is steel, oil, sacrifice, memory, and unfinished history. Many of the harbor's surviving ships were repaired, modernized, and returned to war, but Arizona and Utah were left behind. That contrast reveals something essential about Pearl Harbor, because not every wreck was salvageable, and not every loss could be undone. To historians, these wrecks preserve evidence of the attack, but to many families, they remain graves where loved ones still rest. This is why recovery efforts stopped at a certain point, choosing remembrance over removal and preservation over complete physical reclamation. Even today, specialists monitor Arizona's condition, studying corrosion, fuel leakage, and structural decay to understand how long the wreck endures. Those studies are not only scientific, they help protect a memorial resting underwater, slowly changing with time, salt, bacteria, and currents. The harbor itself has also changed, yet beneath modern boats and visiting tourists, the past remains anchored to the seabed. That strange contrast is what makes Pearl Harbor so haunting: living naval history above water and silent wartime memory below. Some visitors leave flowers, others salute, and some simply watch the water, knowing the surface hides stories too heavy for words. Beneath that surface are shattered compartments, collapsed decks, and machinery once filled with voices, alarms, heat, smoke, and fear. Much of it can no longer be seen directly, yet it remains physically present, hidden under water, sediment, and decades of silence. That physical presence is why Pearl Harbor feels different from a museum, because here, history was never fully lifted away. Instead, the harbor became a place where memory and metal stay together, preserved not in glass cases, but underwater forever. And perhaps that is the deepest answer of all. Beneath Pearl Harbor lies not just wreckage, but the weight of sacrifice. After 85 years, the harbor is still calm above, but below, it remains one of America's most sacred battlefields. Unlike the ships raised and repaired, Arizona and Utah remain underwater as permanent witnesses to the morning that pushed America into war. The Arizona Memorial crosses above the battleship without touching it, allowing visitors to stand directly over the wreck and its dead. Modern surveys and three-dimensional models now reveal above-water features and submerged sections once hidden beneath Pearl Harbor's surface. Yet corrosion, salt water, microorganisms, and time slowly reshape both wrecks, erasing details that survived the original attack beneath Pearl Harbor. Preservation teams study structural changes carefully, because protecting Arizona means balancing scientific access, environmental safety, and respect for human remains. Inside Arizona, more than 900 sailors and Marines still rest, making the hull both a battleship and an underwater cemetery. Utah also remains a grave, and some survivors later chose to have their ashes returned to the ship they once escaped. Their choices transformed Pearl Harbor from a site of destruction into a continuing burial place, connecting survivors forever with fallen shipmates. Their sacred status prevents them from becoming ordinary dive attractions, treasure sites, or abandoned machines waiting to be dismantled for salvage. They are protected historical evidence, sacred memorials, and physical reminders that the attack's human cost remains present beneath the harbor. Above the water, flags move, boats pass, and visitors speak softly. Below, shattered steel continues its silent journey through time. So what still lies beneath Pearl Harbor is not one secret, but layers of wreckage, fuel, remains, artifacts, and unresolved memory. The ships answer a question history books cannot. What happens when a battlefield is never removed, only preserved beneath peaceful water? Nearly 85 years later, Pearl Harbor remains quiet above, while the final mourning of hundreds of sailors survives below. Subscribe to Sunken Inside for more forgotten shipwrecks, underwater mysteries, and true maritime stories still hidden beneath the world's oceans.